Charlie Allen Jr. disappeared on Thursday, October 11th, 2007. When a person disappears without a trace, often the most critical information is hidden in their actions and words from the days before they vanished. Charlie Allen's last known whereabouts may hold the clues to what happened to him. 22-year-old college student and tennis buff Charlie Allen goes after life with gusto.
He would eat, sleep, and breathe tennis.
If he wanted to be good at something, he wanted to be the best.
One afternoon, in typical Charlie fashion, he makes plans with a buddy to go to a party.
Charlie was really excited about the chance to go talk to girls and just to have a good time.
But he never shows up. On a chilly October night in 2007, Charlie Allen Jr. disappears.
I was trying him on his phone, no response.
The mystery deepens when his Facebook account is abruptly deleted, and he warns his family that people may be after him.
He said there are people after him, and he's not safe.
Police are baffled by the bizarre case.
In my time here as a police officer, we've never encountered a story such as this.
And his loved ones find themselves ricocheting between hope and despair.
I just felt like, he'll call tomorrow. It would just be too unbearable to think otherwise.
It's a chilly evening in southeastern Massachusetts in October 2007. 22-year-old UMass Dartmouth student Charlie Allen is running barefoot and shirtless along a wooded road a few miles from campus. The tennis junkie, who was once one of the world's top-ranked online gamers, is sure that someone is after him and that neither he nor his family is safe. This dash into the night will resonate with Charlie's loved ones as the moment everything went wrong. Just a few days earlier, Charlie heads over to nearby Providence, Rhode Island to meet his younger sister, Brittany. 15 months apart, the two siblings are very close and see each other often.
Charlie and I grew up together. We did everything together. We always had like that connection. We would always be there for each other, you know? We saw each other all the time.
They catch up over lunch with their mother, Anne, who comes down to see her kids a couple of times a month from her home a little more than an hour-and-a-half drive north in Haverhill, Massachusetts.
That was a great day. I just remember leaving feeling happy. He was doing good in school, played tennis, and he seemed happy. And I remember driving home feeling really good.
Charlie is the oldest of 3 kids in a tight-knit family.
Very close. Charlie and I could talk about anything and everything. He told me more, sometimes things I didn't really want to know.
Was a great kid growing up. Enjoyed playing baseball and was very good at school. He enjoyed life and he did well. He was in the honor society. He could get good grades without even trying hard.
Charlie grows up hanging out with friends in the neighborhood and enjoying vacations at the family's summer house in Gloucester, Massachusetts.
Charlie had a lot of neighborhood friends, and our house was one of the gathering places.
It was just always like the light of the party. He was just very outgoing and just liked to have a good time.
He was a good guy. He seemed like, he had everything in order.
In high school, Charlie becomes interested in online gaming, competitions in which multiple players compete over the internet. He becomes especially good at the game Half-Life.
He was very determined. He would put a lot of time and effort into anything to make himself the best, and he was the best.
When Charlie first got into online gaming, he fell in love with it. He wanted to be #1.
Charlie's gamer name is Neo, and he soon becomes one of the top-ranked Half-Life players in the world, even traveling to Texas for a tournament.
He was considered the #1 player in the world. Standings, his stats, if you looked him up online, that would easily tell that.
He was very well regarded, one of the best in the world, and a lot of people knew him for that. They wrote articles about him and that kind of thing, so it was pretty impressive.
I remember in high school, and some stranger walked up to me and was like, "Are you Neo's sister?" I was like, yeah, I guess so. I was like, I love him.
After graduating high school, Charlie enrolls at UMass Dartmouth. He majors in psychology and gets good grades. He even thinks about going on to medical school after graduation. Having conquered the online gaming world, Charlie shifts his focus to tennis when he gets to college. He approaches it with the same determination to learn and be the best.
He ended up making the college team. He would dedicate himself to something, a passion, and he would spend pretty much all his time working at that particular thing and until he felt he was mastering it.
It was all I talked about. He would study it, the strategies of the game, and he would play all the time. He would eat, sleep, and breathe tennis.
He was always a happy-go-lucky guy, always had a positive attitude.
On the courts at UMass Dartmouth, Charlie meets fellow student Mason Vio.
I had gone down there to practice. I had seen him. He had asked me to hit, so we started hitting and we got it off from there.
The two quickly bond over their mutual love of tennis.
Charlie was a quick learner. He had developed his skills pretty quickly, and he had a good forehand. He liked coming to the net, and he was able to stay out there with anyone.
Charlie is fascinated when Mason tells him he trained at tennis academies in Florida, something Charlie aspires to do himself.
Charlie wanted to get a lot better. He had always said he wanted to go down south and just train to see how good he could get.
At 2 o'clock on Thursday, October 11th, 2007, Charlie and Mason meet on the courts to practice.
We had practiced for 2.5 hours, just playing a little bit and just doing some drills. Nothing really seemed out of the ordinary. We had a great practice.
Charlie tells Mason that he's been invited to a party later that evening by a member of the girls' tennis team. He asks Mason to join him.
He was really excited about the party, the chance to go talk to girls on the tennis team and just have a good time. Charlie was really excited and was happy that we were both gonna go.
The two friends grab dinner at the school cafeteria and then go their separate ways to shower and clean up. They agree to meet back on campus at 8:30 and go to the party together. Around 6 p.m., Mason heads to his house nearly a half hour away. Mason assumes Charlie is headed to his off-campus apartment in nearby New Bedford.
I had told Charlie that I would see him later tonight and the party should be good, and I will give you a call when I get back.
At 8 o'clock that night, at her apartment in Providence, Charlie's sister Brittany is checking her Facebook account.
We talked to each other on Facebook every day. He loved Facebook.
Charlie had messaged her earlier that evening, and she wanted to get back to him. But when she logs on, she is shocked at what she finds. Coming up, in a matter of moments, Charlie's world appears to unravel.
I could hear over the phone, his heart dropping. He got really scared.
Famous among his friends and family for his passion for tennis, 22-year-old Charlie Allen Jr. is finishing up his senior year of college. October 11th, 2007, his sister Brittany logs onto Facebook to respond to a message Charlie sent her earlier. She is thrown by what she discovers.
His account was deleted. He didn't exist on there anymore. And so I thought it was crazy that all of a sudden he would delete it and he wouldn't even tell me.
Brittany calls Charlie to find out what happened.
At first I was just like, hey, what are you doing? And he was like, I'm walking. I was thinking about going to this girl's party. I was like, okay, well, called because I was wondering, why did you delete your Facebook? And I could just like hear over the phone him, like his heart dropping. It was like all of a sudden, he got really scared.
Brittany is confused when Charlie tells her he has no idea what happened to his Facebook page and that he didn't delete it.
And then he just started panicking. He's talking really fast, just in a panic.
What Charlie tells her next is stunning.
There are people after him, and he's not safe, and I'm not safe. It's like, you have to leave school right now. You have to go home, stay with Dad. Dad's the only one who can protect you. There are really important people after me. I've sent some emails, and I'm not safe. Right before he hung up, he said, all the answers are in the periodic table of elements.
Distraught and bewildered, Brittany calls her father.
I was really freaked out, and I called my dad crying, and I was like, I don't know what's going on, but Charlie he just scared me.
Brittany had been very close to Charlie, but with the way that he was talking to her, she was very concerned about his well-being. And at the same time, my wife and I both had received cell phone messages from Charlie where he sounded like he was running and talking about maybe heading south. You know, it was definitely concerning.
In the message Charlie leaves for his father, he mentions Mexico and Florida. In the voicemail he leaves for his mother, he talks of Texas.
I had a message from Charlie, which was really out of character of him. He had told me that he needs to be loved more and that he felt isolated. He was running at the time that he was talking to me. He was out of breath. And then he kind of hung up abruptly. And I tried calling him back, and he had turned off his cell phone.
Charlie's parents and sister all try to reach him on his cell phone, but every call goes to voicemail. That same evening, on the UMass Dartmouth campus, Mason heads to the campus parking lot where he and Charlie are meeting to go to the party together. But Charlie never shows.
I'd waited about a half an hour to 45 minutes before I had left. I figured Charlie probably went to the party and just forgot about me.
Mason tries one more time to reach Charlie. He gets voicemail and heads home. Meanwhile, Charlie's mother, father, and sister keep trying, but fail to reach him.
Charlie had taken off a couple of times, usually just to go see a tennis tournament. He'd always get in touch with us the same day or the next day, and so we figured he'd turn up the next day.
But Charlie doesn't turn up, and he doesn't call. His parents notify the university that Charlie has vanished. October 14th, 2007. 3 days after Charlie is last seen, police are called to investigate something suspicious a homeowner found in his backyard. Detective Robert Levinson of the Dartmouth Police Department is the patrolman on duty.
On Sunday, October 14th, at around 11 o'clock in the morning, I was dispatched to a residence in town for some found property. Specifically, it was a backpack, a school-type backpack.
Levinson looks through the backpack and finds a notebook.
The name in the notebook was Charles Allen. I contacted the university campus, and from there I found out that Charles Allen Jr. had been reported missing.
Bloodhound units are sent out to see what, if any, trace they can find of the college student. The canine search comes up empty, but over at UMass Dartmouth, campus police make a discovery. They find Charlie's Ford Expedition in a school parking lot. Inside the car is a pillow and blanket.
It appeared as if that maybe Charlie had been sleeping in his vehicle rather than in his home.
Up to this point, Charlie's family has assumed they would hear from him at any moment. But their concern turns to fear with the discovery of Charlie's car.
When they found his car, that's when I I couldn't deal with it. Because why would he leave his car?
Monday, October 15th, the day after the car and backpack are discovered. Officer Levinson is talking about the case with a fellow cop. When he describes Charlie, his colleague tells him that the college student sounds just like a suspect in another case.
There had actually been a housebreak not too far away from the campus.
In the early morning hours of Friday, October 12th, a little more than 6 hours after Brittany last spoke to her brother, Jean Boudreau wakes to find someone with no shirt on climbing through her second-floor bedroom window.
When she awoke, she had a brief conversation with this gentleman who had entered her window.
And he says, "Oh, excuse me, ma'am, I'm just leaving." He was looking for his friend Mason, and then he just proceeded to go out the window. He was actually very polite.
Levinson is sure it's Charlie. The physical description is a match, and he has already learned that Charlie has a friend named Mason.
Just based on the physical description and the clothing description of the person who entered this resident's home, that person was more than likely Charlie Allen.
This discovery only intensifies the mystery. Charlie's tennis buddy lives nowhere near the home that was broken into.
It was a good 30 minutes away, and he had known where I lived. So I thought that was a little strange.
It didn't make any sense to me.
Coming up, the search for Charlie becomes more urgent.
Time was of the essence to find him before he had hurt himself or something even worse.
College student Charlie Allen Jr. leaves a series of worrisome messages on his parents' cell phone, and after a disturbing conversation with his sister, he disappears. When investigators seemingly tie the 22-year-old to a break-in at a home several miles from Charlie's UMass campus, the case becomes even more puzzling.
Charlie was not a known criminal. This wasn't his normal behavior to break into someone's house.
But police learned something about Charlie that they think may explain this behavior.
The father told me that his son was bipolar and manic depressive, and he had acted irrational at times, and he might not have been taking his medication as he was supposed to. So it would all make sense that he was in some type of a manic state, and he was acting irrational.
Years earlier in high school, Charlie was diagnosed with bipolar disorder, a condition that involves alternating periods of mania and depression.
He became a bit manic and was a pretty big change for him. He had been somewhat shy in school up to that point, and suddenly he was very outgoing, and it was noticeable. When he was manic, he talked a lot and fast, and he had somewhat grandiose thoughts. When he was diagnosed in high school, he took medication for some period of time and started seeing a therapist and seemed to do better. He finished high school, graduated, and it went well when he went to college.
But in recent years, Charlie had an on-again, off-again relationship with his psychiatric medication.
When they diagnosed him with bipolar disorder and they put him on mood stabilizers, he said he wasn't the same. He felt dead inside. He didn't get happy or sad. I remember one time I was so upset about something, hysterically crying to him about it, and he looked at me and he was like, "I'm just jealous that you can feel like that, feel passionately about something, even if it's bad," because he didn't.
The summer before he disappeared, Charlie stopped taking the drugs altogether.
Eventually, he stopped taking the medication on his own. Things had leveled out. He tried to maintain his physical well-being in relationship to his mental well-being, and he seemed like he was somewhat under control doing it that way.
And he was like, "I wasn't alive before. I feel like I'm living for the first time."
Police suspect Charlie's disappearance is connected to his bipolar disorder, and that off his medication, he may have slipped into a manic state.
We believed that we were dealing with a mentally ill individual, and time was of the essence to find him before he had hurt himself or something even worse.
But the people who know Charlie best, his family and friends, find it impossible to believe that Charlie's condition is serious enough to make him want to disappear.
People don't understand, mental illness, what people call mental illness, and once they hear that label, it's like, oh, he probably just ran away, or he's probably schizophrenic. He has no idea. He's just crazy. I think he's more sane than anyone I've ever met.
Even when Charlie was manic, he always made sense. He never lost touch with reality.
Charlie's mother, who saw him just days before he disappeared, says there would usually be a build-up to a manic episode, and during her recent visit with her son, there was no evidence of that at all.
It starts off slow and it builds and it builds and it builds. That's the way it was with Charlie. You just don't lose your mind in 1 minute and run away.
There were no signs indicating that he was going to have a breakdown of any kind, so it all seemed a little strange to me.
In fact, Mason, who saw Charlie several times a week, had no idea his friend was bipolar.
That was news to me because he had always been really level-headed, happy-go-lucky. It hung out with him a lot. There was nothing to suggest that he was depressed or bipolar at all.
But in hindsight, Mason does remember something a little odd from the last day he saw Charlie.
At dinner time, Charlie and I went to the school cafeteria, and when we had sat down, he reached across to grab pizza from my plate. I thought that was a little strange. I'd mentioned it, and he said he thought that it was his slice of pizza. We both kind of laughed it off.
In another strange twist, police also learned that shortly before he disappeared, Charlie legally changed his name from Charles Allen Jr. to Neo Babson Maximus.
One day, I got home from work, and he's like, check this out. I changed my name. And he took out his license, and he showed it to me, and it said, Neo Babson Maximus. And I just laughed. I was like, you serious? What the hell is this? I just kind of like brushed it aside, like, well, I'm still calling you Charlie. I'm not calling you Neo in the public.
Neo, Charlie's online gaming name, is taken from the movie The Matrix, while Maximus comes from the film Gladiator. Babson is a family name.
I asked him why, and he wanted it to be different. And he wanted to be the best tennis player in the world. That was his goal. And he thought that it sounded a lot better if he had a different name.
Charlie didn't talk widely of the name change. In fact, many are later surprised to find out about it.
Charlie had never mentioned anything about changing his name. I did not know Charlie had changed his name until after he had gone missing.
Police see the name change as further evidence of Charlie's troubled state of mind.
I don't know what makes a person decide to change their name. Not only do we have a person that's missing, we have an individual that legally changed his name, and perhaps, did he do that to escape his past, to start a new life? Maybe, I don't know. I guess there's so many possible answers out there.
Charlie's family last heard from him on a Thursday. A week later, there is still no word.
I just felt like, he'll call tomorrow. It would just be too unbearable to think otherwise.
His parents think back to the baffling voicemails he left each of them just before his disappearance, talking about heading south. His last conversation with his sister Brittany is equally confusing. Charlie told Brittany that people were after him and he wasn't safe. But none of his friends are aware of any danger he may have been facing or any enemies he may have had.
Charlie didn't have any enemies. I mean, he was just a happy guy and was everyone's friend. So for him to have enemies was a little far-fetched, it seemed.
The kid wasn't really a troublesome kid. I mean, he never picked fights. He wasn't like a mean person. I don't know why he said that.
Police don't find any evidence to indicate that anyone is after Charlie or that he had been in danger. But Charlie's mother and sister don't believe Charlie's fears are imaginary.
I didn't think that there was any chance in hell that he was just having an illusion that there were people after him. I could tell that he was being honest. He was really scared, and I believe it.
Coming up, could Charlie have hitched a ride out of town?
I feel confident that it was that student.
Get more Disappeared online at investigationdiscovery.com. Charlie Allen Jr. is last seen in early October 2007. The college student suffers from bipolar disorder, and police seemingly link him to a home break-in. Law enforcement devotes every resource available to search around the UMass Dartmouth campus and in neighboring New Bedford.
I think the fact that Charlie did suffer from some type of mental illness made it all the more urgent to search the woods and to reach out to as many people who knew Charlie and that maybe had seen him within the last few days before he disappeared.
Police find Charlie's sneakers along a road not far from the house he allegedly broke into, which seems to confirm their suspicion that he was the shirtless intruder.
The search escalated from the use of Massachusetts State Police helicopter to a widespread search with multiple people searching for Charlie in the wooded area. It's a very dense wooded area in that part of Dartmouth.
Now, with no shirt, no shoes, and wearing just a pair of warm-up pants, how far could the college student have made it in the cool, rainy October weather?
If anybody could figure out a way to survive, it would be Charlie. He knew how to take care of himself, and so he was definitely the type of person that would find a way if he wanted to.
When Charlie's family reports that he had a very active online life, police check Charlie's computer for possible clues to his whereabouts.
There was nothing really all that helpful on his computer that would lead us in a different direction. The detective who checked the computer did not report anything out of the ordinary.
The only finding of interest is that one of the last pages Charlie looked at online was a website for the University of Texas. In the voicemail he left for his mother, he mentioned going to Texas. Had Charlie been researching a secret move south?
We contacted the university down there and just to inquire whether Charlie had in fact applied at that university, and we were told that no, there was no file with his name attached to it.
If Charlie had an interest in going to Texas, he would tell me, because he knows I would say, if you want to do that, hon, do it.
Charlie's mother is more concerned with what police didn't find on his computer. Charlie had told his sister he was in trouble because he had sent some emails to important people, but those emails are nowhere to be found. In fact, all of Charlie's recent emails are missing.
There were no emails before he went missing. There were no emails from October 11, 10th, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. But I just thought it was really strange.
Blows my mind that we could give Charlie's computer to the police to do the forensics, and someone who lived his entire life on the computer. They found nothing. He, lived a virtual life, and they found nothing.
If there is any truth to the notion that someone was after Charlie, could they have tampered with his computer and purposely wiped it clean? Or could it have been Charlie himself who did it? Could the online phenom have intended to take himself off the grid?
If he wanted to change his identity, I'm pretty sure he could have done it. I mean, he's pretty creative in, the terms of being able to, act, and be something, different. He did change his name, so I guess, in a sense, his identity was kind of altered already.
According to his friends and family, Charlie had a knack for mastering things quickly. Could he have been equally adept at setting up his own disappearance? Was changing his name a first step in creating a new identity?
Sure. He loved his apartment, he loved his classes, he loved playing tennis, and then all of a sudden it's all gone.
Charlie has been missing for more than a week. With no news concerning his whereabouts, his family is getting increasingly desperate.
We couldn't sleep, trouble eating, crying all day. It was just unimaginable. It actually was just, difficult to function. Every second of every day, you'd be thinking about it. And it's just totally unimaginable.
Did Charlie flee in a manic state brought on by bipolar disorder? Did he decide to create a new identity someplace else? Or, as he told his sister, were people really after him?
There are numerous scenarios as to what could have happened to Charlie Allen. He was in our town, someone had seen him, someone had interacted with him. After that, it's anyone's guess what happened.
Finally, a few weeks after Charlie is last seen, a witness comes forward. Jim Costa is an electric company troubleshooter. On a Saturday morning in October 2007, he leaves early for work.
Driving down Cross Road, I did notice a young man, no shirt on, and he looked rather disheveled. He looked shaken. He didn't look that good. And I saw that young man walking towards a truck, maybe to ask for help, or maybe he was slept in that truck. I didn't know.
While the young man sounds like he could be Charlie, Costa is not able to remember exactly when he saw him, the Saturday just days after Charlie disappeared, or the Saturday a week later.
If it was the right day, I feel confident that it was that student.
The intersection is near the UMass Dartmouth campus. It is also along Route 6, a major thoroughfare that feeds right onto Interstate 195.
We haven't been able to confirm if that was in fact Charlie.
But if it was, what happened? Did he approach the truck driver for help or a ride?
It's possible he could have gotten on the truck and left the area. That opens up a whole new door for us, or for the family. It gives us hope that maybe Charlie is alive.
December 2007. Charlie has been missing for more than 2 months, and the trail is growing cold.
After a certain time frame in any investigation, after a couple of searches had been conducted, the phone stopped ringing. The leads just weren't coming in. We sort of hit a wall in the investigation.
It just became more excruciating. You know, anxiety increased tenfold every day with nothing being found.
While Charlie's shoes and backpack were quickly located, there is no sign of his cell phone or his wallet. His father keeps Charlie's bank and cell phone accounts active, just in case.
The bank card was never used after he had disappeared. And actually the cell phone itself, I still have the account active, just in case. Every time the phone rang here at home, it would be, your heart would jump. You think it's him or somebody calling about him. Every time, you know, you hear a car pull up or somebody come to the door, you think it could be him.
For about 5 or 6 months, I called him every single day, multiple times. I'd leave him like voicemails and stuff, to the point where you couldn't leave him voicemails anymore. The phone would just keep ringing or it would just hang up on you.
Charlie's family prays for answers. But as the days wear on, they are left with only questions. Where is he? What happened to him, and why hasn't he called? It is impossible for them to believe that Charlie has intentionally cut them off. But it is even more horrifying to imagine that he may have done so against his will.
So it's just like you're suspended. Sometimes I pray for answers and then I think, oh wait, is that really what I want? What if, you know, he's dead, but it still eats away at you, you know? You can't find peace unless you figure it out.
Coming up, a group of private investigators and a fresh search offer new and disturbing leads in the case.
When we got the call, our hearts just dropped.
The disappearance of 22-year-old college student Charlie Allen Jr. devastates his family and confounds police.
It's very frustrating. Is it possible he's out there and doesn't really remember who he is? I don't know. I personally would like to believe that he's alive and he's out there somewhere.
Several months after Charlie's disappearance, his family is dismayed by the lack of movement in the investigation. They reach out to a private investigator, John Lassise.
Charlie Allen Sr. contacted me, and they were just devastated that they hadn't been able to locate him. Described him as very intelligent, loved his family, And they knew that he was off his medication. He was manic. He believed that he was being stalked. People were after him and his family.
Lassise takes on the case pro bono and forms a cold case team with several other PIs to help. They start by considering the area where Charlie was last seen and weighing whether or not he could still be somewhere in the vicinity.
Could he be in the woods? Absolutely. He may have committed suicide. He may have fallen into foul play. It's all a possibility.
The first order of business is to organize a new and comprehensive search of the 4-square-mile wooded area bordering UMass Dartmouth. The terrain is dense and difficult to navigate. Alive or dead, if Charlie is in the woods, Lassise is confident that they'll find him. Police have already explored the area, but Lassise and his partners plan a much larger and deeper search, employing ground searchers, ATVs, helicopters, canine units, and cadaver dogs. More than 300 people take part, and the massive effort kicks off on the year anniversary of Charlie's disappearance.
This search is the largest civilian-run search that we're aware of in New England.
Private investigator Alan Tate coordinates the search. As guides, he uses Charlie's last known location, as well as where his shoes and backpack were found.
To search this area here, although on the map it looks nice, wide, and open, on the ground it's very thick and very difficult for ground searchers to navigate through.
Charlie's friend Anthony is one of the many volunteer searchers.
I was kind of hoping we didn't find anything, because obviously who wants to, I mean, you want closure sometimes, but at the same time, I mean, I'm the type where I don't want to give up, so it's like I don't want like an ending that's not positive.
But on the third day of the search, a team including Charlie's own cousin comes across some bones.
When we got the call, our hearts just dropped. Obviously, after that period of time, you know, it's almost like you might expect it's going to happen, that they would find him. You know, so it was, your hearts drop, but you feel like this is finally it.
For like 24 hours, we didn't know if they were his bones. It's not a fun situation to be in.
When they found the bones, I couldn't even describe to you what that feels like. We just pretty much died.
But the bones turn out to be animal, not human remains.
It was difficult to do the search, but it was something that was necessary to do. We knew it needed to be done, and in my opinion, the outcome was good. You know, that he wasn't found.
I was just exhilarated. You didn't find anything.
I don't believe that Charlie is in the woods. I believe at this point that Charlie made it out.
But where did he go? While the search indicates that it is unlikely Charlie or his body is in the woods, it still offers no clues to what happened to the college student.
There's so many different ways you can look at it. I personally am trying to remain positive. I'd like to think that he's out there somewhere and he's still alive. I think that if Charlie had passed away, I think we would have come across him by now.
The only place to go with this investigation right now is to assume that he is alive and see if we can find him.
As the months pass, there is no word from Charlie and no sign of him anywhere. The investigation appears to have hit a dead end, but his friends remain hopeful.
I feel like wherever he wanted to go, he had a plan. And if the plan didn't work out, you know, 100% the way he wanted it to, the way he thinks, he would have a backup plan. He would have ways of getting by if stuff didn't go the way he wanted it to go.
I think Charlie wandered off. I think he probably is somewhere down south playing tennis like he wanted to.
December 2009. More than 2 years since Charlie disappeared, there's a possible sighting of him much closer to home.
It was about 4 o'clock in the morning, and I was sleeping.
Stephen Kelly and his wife are asleep in bed in their New Bedford, Massachusetts home, 11 miles from the UMass Dartmouth campus.
I heard the door knock. So, you know, I ran to the door, and I opened the door, and there was a young man standing at the door. wasn't dressed for the weather. He shouldn't have been outside at 4 o'clock in the morning. He said he needed help getting back to SMU.
SMU stands for Southeastern Massachusetts University, what UMass Dartmouth was called until 1991.
My wife was panicking. She thought that it was maybe going to be like home invasion if I went outside. So we shut the door and called the police.
But by the time police get there, the young man is nowhere to be found. The next day, Kelly's wife mentions the incident to a friend, who tells her about Charlie's disappearance. When Kelly hears about it, he looks up pictures of the UMass student online.
When I looked at the pictures, I'm like, that's the kid that was standing at our front door.
Could it have been Charlie Allen? Kelly tells police he thinks it was.
He said close to 100%, which is very high for someone to, make that type of a statement. But, I believe in his mind that, he really felt that he saw Charlie. It brings sort of a new element to this whole investigation. When I think about it sometimes, I think this is it's such an odd story that sometimes you almost wonder, if it's real or not.
It would be a wonderful movie of the week if Charlie shows up some morning on the doorstep of his parents and asks if he can come home. So that's my hope.
Charlie's information and fingerprints are entered into the National Crime Information Center database.
In the future, if Charlie is placed under arrest or protective custody, and if his fingerprints are checked, it will show that he's a missing person.
To date, there have been no hits.
In my time here as a police officer, we've never encountered a story such as this. So you just want answers. I know the family wants it. I know all the investigators. We just want to know. We want to know what happened to Charlie Allen Jr. All we ask for is some closure, I think. That's what the family deserves, at least. He's still out there, somewhere.
Charlie's family continues to hope that Charlie is safe and that they will one day hear from him.
Charlie would never just disappear. And he knows me well enough and his family to know that how much it would hurt. I have no idea where he is or if he's alive. It's like the ultimate internal struggle. Because you can't really grieve over something that you don't know.
I don't believe for 1 minute that Charlie left because he wanted to. He just wouldn't.
I have to hold out hope that Charlie's still out there. I have no other choice. I can't give in to the thought that I'll never see him again.
Leah Roberts disappeared on Monday, March 13th, 2000. When a person disappears without a trace, often the most critical information is hidden in their actions and words from the days before they vanished. Leah Roberts' last known whereabouts may hold the clues to what happened to her. After a series of personal tragedies, 23-year-old Leah Roberts is questioning the deeper meaning of life.
Leah wanted to see the world and spread her wings.
But no one expects Leah to leave the way she does.
She didn't tell anyone that she was going somewhere.
Then, a cryptic note and a money trail hint at where Leah the adventure seeker has gone.
I could see that she was headed west on I-40.
I thought that was just her course.
It's a soul-searching journey that comes to an unexpected halt, almost 3,000 miles away.
There's no sign of Leah. Where could she have gone?
That car has something to tell us.
It's March 2000. 23-year-old Leah Roberts sits at her usual table, writing in her journal and trying to figure out life's next move.
She used to hang out at this coffee shop, Cup of Joe. I think she would have loved to write the next great American novel. For her, it was a way to get things down on paper and probably good for her soul.
Leah was very philosophical. I guess some people would call her an old soul. You know, she seemed like somebody who was really wise beyond her years.
Just a few credits away from earning a degree in Spanish and anthropology from North Carolina State University, Leah has decided there is more to life than graduating college.
She kind of resented it and disagreed with the fact that you should get a degree to move on with life.
She was interested in, you know, that life adventure, figuring out why we're here, what we're doing.
But even with her free spirit, Leah's older siblings feel quitting school months before graduation is a rash decision.
I remember talking to her one time and saying, just tough this out for 6 months. And, you know, she didn't like being told that.
It's Thursday morning. Leah Roberts gets a routine call from her older sister in Durham to see how she's doing.
It was kind of the same sort of conversations about what she was gonna do with her life, but nothing to indicate that I wasn't gonna talk to her the next day.
With just 2 years between them, the sisters are close and talk often. But even with their solid relationship, Kara has no idea what is about to transpire.
We didn't make plans. I think it's just one of those things. I'll talk to you when I talk to you next. There was no reason to be concerned.
But close friends have been noticing changes in Leah's personality and have concerns of their own.
She would go out places by herself and she would meet people while she was out, which, you know, isn't that big of a deal. But then to be doing it constantly and then really not having any contact with your friends, I was definitely worried about that.
She would go to the coffee shop all day and she would work on her computer and she would, you know, make new friends, people that got her thinking outside of Raleigh, you know, and Durham.
It's hard for Leah's core group of friends to see the outgoing girl they grew up with pulling away from them, especially knowing how difficult the previous several years have been for Leah and her family. When Leah was just 17 years old and a senior in high school, her safe and carefree life in the suburbs of Durham was interrupted. Her father was diagnosed with a life-threatening respiratory disease. While dealing with one seriously ill parent, the Roberts siblings had no idea that another storm was brewing.
We always kind of focused on my dad, but my mom was not doing so well all along, and it wasn't quite as obvious.
Leah was just 20 years old, a sophomore in college, when her mother died suddenly from heart disease.
It's kind of the first realization of your own mortality. So to experience that at Leah's age, I think would be even more, you know, of a shake to the foundation of your life and your beliefs.
She wrote about feeling like she had been born again, born into this new life without a mom.
After taking some time off from school, Leah returned to NC State the following semester in the fall of 1998. It was then that Leah suffered yet another life-changing event.
A transfer truck turned in front of her, and she had no choice but to run straight into it.
The near-fatal accident left Leah with a punctured lung and shattered femur, requiring doctors to place a metal rod inside her leg.
She talked about feeling like she was going to die immediately before the crash.
But given a second chance, Leah decided she was going to live life to the fullest.
Leah was somebody who wanted to see the world and spread her wings.
She studied a semester abroad in Spain, and then enlisted for a field study program in Costa Rica. Then, just 3 weeks before she was scheduled to leave, in the spring of 1999, Leah's father passed away.
Leah's faced with, you know, do I stick around here for the summer or do I continue with my plans and go to Costa Rica? So a month or so after Dad passed away, she headed down to Costa Rica.
I went to visit with her just to have a vacation. I was worried about her during our time in Costa Rica because she did not seem to be affected at all by her father's death.
Instead of mourning for her father, Leah decided to make the most of her experience in Costa Rica. Her time there seemed to have a big impact on her changing worldviews.
I do think that she rejected the idea that she had to live her life the same way that everybody around her was living theirs.
Now, 8 months after her trip to Costa Rica, it is clear that Leah Roberts wants to break free from her past. She's been taking guitar lessons, dabbling in photography, and spending hours documenting life in her journals.
She was buying a lot of music, buying a lot of books. It was almost like she was searching for something.
After talking to her sister earlier that morning, Leah confirms a plan to babysit with her roommate the next day.
We had made plans on that Friday to go babysit. Friday came and she never showed up. I thought maybe she forgot or maybe something came up and she just wasn't able to do it.
When Nicole returns home and Leah is not there, she doesn't think much of it.
We sometimes didn't see each other for a day or two. I would get up for work and she would still be in bed, or she'd be in bed when I got home from work, so it didn't seem unusual to me.
But after 2 days pass and still no sign of Leah or her car, Nicole starts receiving phone calls that are cause for concern.
She had missed people and had made all these different plans.
But she never made it to any of the plans that she half started. So then we were really worried.
Coming up, Leah's sister finds a cryptic note in Leah's bedroom.
It was just out there.
After surviving the deaths of her parents and a near-fatal car crash, 23-year-old Leah Roberts is searching for answers. When she pulls away from her core group of friends and quits college, those closest to her become concerned about her emotional state. Then, after a phone call with her sister and making babysitting plans with her roommate, she disappears.
Leah's roommate, Nicole, called me that Sunday around noon and, asked me if I had seen Leah.
During the next 24 hours, Leah's sister Kara and Leah's friends call everyone they know in a fruitless attempt to find out where Leah has gone. On Monday morning, the young women meet at Nicole and Leah's house to strategize their next move. Nobody has seen either Leah or her car since Thursday.
She was driving a white Jeep Cherokee, had a good number of miles on it.
When Kara showed up, I think she was very worried to begin with. She walked directly in the door and went directly into Leah's room.
Judging by the state of Leah's room and the things that are missing, it is clear to Kara Leah has left voluntarily.
It didn't give me concern that someone had done something to her. I could just tell that she had packed up and taken certain things.
Although they agree Leah left on her own accord, knowing her emotional state, Kara and Leah's friends alert the police. If Leah did leave voluntarily without telling anyone, the girls are concerned she might not be thinking clearly.
We went down to the Raleigh Police Department downtown and filed a missing persons report. There wasn't a lot they could do because we had nowhere for them to even start.
We were all pretty worried and concerned about her. We're also just angry that if she did leave on purpose, that she didn't tell anyone.
On Tuesday, the day after the report is filed, Kara returns to Leah's house to see if perhaps she overlooked something that would give her some indication of where her sister has gone. What she finds heightens the mystery.
I was able to locate the note that she had left for her roommate, Nicole. It was a folded piece of paper with a picture of, the smile of the Cheshire Cat. So that was a little creepy.
Leah was known to be a big fan of the popular children's book, Alice in Wonderland. For Kara, the Cheshire Cat's smile is not likely an insignificant doodle.
I kind of wondered if it wasn't the cat that always disappears and reappears out of nowhere. I feel like it might have meant to her, here's my grin, it's here, it's gone, and it'll be back.
Inside the folded up letter, Kara also finds a stack of cash. The note from her younger sister begins by explaining the money is for bills.
It was to cover expenses for about a month, so I felt like she'd be back in a couple of weeks, at the most.
But as Kara reads on, the note becomes less clear.
Someone described it as cryptic, and I would say that was a good description. It was just out there.
Kara and Leah's friends wonder what was going on in Leah's head as she wrote her note. Then, Kara reads a side note written on the left-hand margin of the letter, referencing the 50s Beat Generation author Jack Kerouac and his legendary book, On the Road. The message speaks volumes to Kara.
Leah had talked to me about Jack Kerouac. I think she kind of romanticized about that sort of lifestyle. Here he is in the 50s, traveling across the country with hardly any cash, and he described this beautiful country, and I feel like she was maybe itching to get out on the road and do some soul searching.
The note seemed very happy. I mean, she seemed very happy about what she was doing.
Nicole recalls a conversation she had with Leah several weeks earlier.
Leah had mentioned to me, just in conversation, hey, let's just take a trip across the country. Let's just get in the car and go out to California. It sounded great, but I was working, I didn't have the money, I couldn't just jump in the car spontaneously and go.
But Leah could. She had no job, no responsibilities, and she was no longer in college. She had inherited some money from her parents, which would have given her the financial means to up and leave. For Leah's brother Heath, Leah's goodbye note and departure make perfect sense.
It just made it sound like she wanted to go follow in Kerouac's footsteps, and she might be gone for a little while, but that she was going to be back.
Although they are concerned, apparently Leah does not want anyone to lose sleep over her decision to leave.
I think she just needed to get away from her life to figure out a plan and to just kind of soul search.
In the note, she tells her sister not to worry and that she is far from depressed.
I think that made me feel a little bit better, finding the note. I still need to know where she was because I kind of looked after her always.
The looming question is, where did Leah go? And why hasn't she tried to contact anyone? Kara is determined to find out the answer. And luckily, she has a starting point.
Kara had been given power of attorney when Leah went to Costa Rica because she was going out of the country. And so Kara was able to tap into her credit cards and ATM cards.
I was able to get her bank records that afternoon, and I could see that she was headed west on I-40.
That's when we finally got a hint that she was going across the country.
Coming up, Leah's lark turns into her sister's worst nightmare when a disturbing note is delivered to Kara's door.
I don't know why her car would have been found there.
After finding a goodbye note addressed to her roommate, family and friends of Leah Roberts are trying to understand her decision to leave home for an adventure on the road. They want to believe she is safe, but they can't be sure. When her sister Kara obtains Leah's bank statement, she is able to follow a money trail, mapping out Leah's plan, a road trip across the country that began just after the last time they spoke on Thursday, March 9th.
I talked to her the day she left. There was no reason to think I wasn't going to talk to her again. She left that evening, I think around 6 o'clock. Went to the bank that afternoon, withdrew $3,000 cash, and hit the road.
Leah is able to traverse the country in less than 4 days. According to her bank statement, she checks into a hotel near Memphis, Tennessee on March 10th, and then only uses her debit card for gas until the last posted transaction on March 13th in Brooks, Oregon. At first, Kara has no idea why her sister is headed to the Pacific Northwest.
It didn't make sense at the time, and I didn't think there was any specific reason for her to go there, but it seems like she had a very deliberate path.
But on March 13th, the money trail stops. Kara knows Leah made it to Oregon, but now there is nothing left for her to do but wait.
I kind of felt like I would hear from Leah. At least I was hoping I would, and just kind of feeling like we can't do anything. She's an adult.
Meanwhile, Leah's friends are still baffled by her abrupt departure. They too want answers.
I just knew that something was really wrong with the situation, and I just felt this horrible, just scared, really scared that something bad was getting ready to occur.
Nicole and Susie hit the pavement, seeking out Leah's new acquaintances to see what they know.
During that time was when we started hearing from people about the whole Jack Kerouac connection.
And then they finally come across a woman from the coffee shop whom Leah has confided in.
We talked a lot about Jack Kerouac because we had both read Dharma Bums, and in the book he had gone over to Washington State in the mountains and had thought a lot about what was important to him. It kind of resonated with her. She wanted to go over there and just be alone and figure everything out because she'd been going through a tough time.
According to Janine, Leah was not sad or depressed about her life, but was indeed yearning for answers.
I totally knew that she was going to take off and go to the mountains because she wanted to go where Jack Kerouac had gone, and she wanted to be on the road and be a free spirit and go and figure herself out.
After 9 days without any word from Leah, Kara can't hold out much longer. It's Kara's 26th birthday, and she fully expects to hear from her sister. But instead of a phone call, she receives an ominous message from Bellingham, Washington.
When I got home on the morning of my birthday and found a note from the local sheriff's department, I found out that Leah's car was found in Bellingham. I had never heard of the area, and just trying to make sense of why her car would have been found there.
Just 1 day earlier, in a remote area of wilderness nearly 3,000 miles from North Carolina, a local man and his wife were taking an early Saturday morning run up a mountain road in a majestic pine forest.
As he was walking down that road, he noticed some clothes in the trees, and as he looked down the ravine, he saw a vehicle. He went down the ravine and found a passport and ID, called 911 to report a vehicle in the ditch.
A white Jeep Cherokee with North Carolina plates was found wrecked and abandoned off an old logging pass called Canyon Creek Road in the Mount Baker National Forest, about 30 miles east of Bellingham, Washington. A deputy from the Whatcom County Sheriff's Department responded to the scene.
When he got to that vehicle, the deputy thought it was suspicious in the sense that there was a vehicle down the embankment, clothes everywhere, but it could be real common in this county. We get these a lot. People end up drinking, they'll crash their vehicle, go down, they'll report it later on. It was treated like a crash vehicle, but it was unique because it was out of North Carolina.
The Jeep was left with blankets and pillows covering the blown-out windows. Personal items, like a checkbook, a guitar, music CDs, and bags of clothing are strewn across the area. But the one obvious thing missing from the scene is the driver. It doesn't take investigators long to figure out the car belongs to a woman named Leah Roberts from North Carolina. They call the Raleigh police, who are able to link the wrecked vehicle to the missing persons report filed 5 days earlier.
At that time, it went from just, a vehicle down the ravine to a missing persons case.
A police officer is sent to Kara Roberts' home, with a note to call a sheriff's department in Washington State. Kara is sickened when she gets the news about the car.
The worst thing that was supposed to happen to me was that my mom passed away unexpectedly, but now we're looking for our little sister. There's no sign of her other than the car, and it's in a place thousands and thousands of miles away.
When Kara called me to tell me that they'd found the car, I remember just breaking down and crying because I knew something really bad had happened.
Kara and Heath Roberts decide to take a trip out west to help locate their baby sister. Meanwhile, police in Whatcom County investigate the site where they believe there has been an accident.
It looked like the vehicle went somewhere between 30 to 40 miles per hour. It was going uphill.
Investigators are able to determine the speed, judging from the damage done to the trees as the Jeep tumbled over the embankment.
It sheared off some trees that were 3 to 4 inches around, and then it looked like it tossed. It went end over end and then side to side. Everything in the vehicle was being tossed out of the vehicle. So if someone was in it, it would have been severely injured, or if they're tossed out, you'd expect them to have been somewhere near the vehicle.
Yet the investigator sees no sign that Leah was injured either inside or outside the Jeep.
It didn't present itself as anyone in the vehicle. And a lot of times you look at the windshield and see if there's head damage or something like that, or damage to the steering wheel, and he didn't see any of that. And you would have thought there would have been trails of some kind of blood. We just didn't see it.
Four days after Leah's Jeep was found, Kara and Heath Roberts arrive in Bellingham, tracing their sister's last known whereabouts. When they witness the beauty of Bellingham, they understand why their sister was drawn here.
The city of Bellingham was very nice. You know, it's a little small town, very quaint looking, but it didn't take very long to get outside of town into an area that I would describe it as wilderness. But it looked like an area where, you know, if you don't know how to survive, you might not.
Police bring Heath and Kara to the accident site shortly after their arrival. Seeing Leah's last whereabouts leaves an indelible mark.
It's kind of in the middle of nowhere, and her trail ended there. Her car was here, there's no sign of Leah. You know, where could she have gone?
Coming up, Kara and Heath uncover a critical lead in the search for their sister.
Somebody there had to have some kind of knowledge of what had happened to her.
Get more Disappeared online at investigationdiscovery.com. Nine days after 23-year-old Leah Roberts left her home in Raleigh, North Carolina, it appears as if her cross-country adventure has come to a crashing halt. Police find her wrecked car in a national forest in Washington state, but no signs of Leah. The accident scene leaves Leah's family and investigators mystified.
The seatbelt wasn't strained, there was no mark on the windshield where they would have hit their head, no blood, but yet these blankets were covering the windows. It made me wonder, you know, did she hit her head and wander off, or wander down to the road and hitchhike out? The condition of the car didn't provide any answers. It almost made it more of a mystery.
We didn't find any tracks or any marks that somebody who was trying to leave a trail, you know, might have left. And of course, we didn't find Leah.
If Leah sustained injuries from the crash, it appears she hasn't asked anyone for help. There are no records of any area hospitals treating an injured or disoriented woman since March 13th, the day that activity on Leah's credit card stops. Seeing the car leaves Leah's brother with two very contradictory scenarios of what might have happened to his free-spirited little sister.
Either Leah had had an accident in the car and had wandered off and was intentionally staying out of contact with people, or that something bad had happened to her. some sort of foul play.
What could have happened to Leah? Police and family believe the answers lie somewhere in that vehicle.
That car has something to tell us because we don't have a crime scene. We don't have a body.
All they know is that Leah paid for gas in Oregon on March 13th, and then her car was found here on this mountain 5 days later. What happened in between and after is anybody's guess. Then, they find a crucial clue. As investigators begin to sift through Leah's belongings, they come across a box.
We found it like in a little memory box. It was like something they wanted to keep, a piece of memorabilia. That's why that was interesting.
Inside the box is a movie ticket stub for the critically acclaimed film American Beauty. The ticket is from a movie theater at Bellis Fair Mall in Bellingham, 30 miles away, and is dated for the afternoon of March 13th. Now investigators have a new piece of the timeline leading up to Leah's disappearance.
We do know she had a gas receipt from Oregon, 12:50 in the morning of Monday, so she drove from Brooks, Oregon to Bellingham, which is a 5-6 hour drive.
The ticket would put Leah in the city for at least several hours until the 2:10 p.m. showing of the movie at the mall. Heath and Kara are hopeful that someone in Bellingham remembers seeing Leah.
It didn't seem possible that she could have come through Bellingham and not interacted with at least some of the local populace. And so somebody there had to have some kind of knowledge of what had happened to her when she was in town.
With the detectives' help, the Roberts siblings generate a missing persons flyer to circulate around Bellingham. They start at the cinema at Bellis Fair Mall.
They didn't remember Leah at the movie theater, so we decided to start asking around in the food court, and I immediately noticed a type of restaurant I thought Leah would go to.
There's only one sit-down restaurant in the mall. Kara believes if Leah had a meal, it would have been here. As it turns out, she's right.
They remembered her sitting at the bar. There were a couple of other patrons on either side of her, but she was alone.
This is promising news for Kara and Heath.
It gave us another piece of Leah being in Bellingham.
Having this new lead gives them hope that the investigation into their sister's disappearance will continue as they head back east to Durham.
Heath and I spent 4 days up in Washington, finding out what was going on, meeting with media, passing out flyers. And at a certain point, what do? We came on home.
The next day, one of the restaurant patrons that was seen talking to Leah phones in a tip.
The man described her as a very warm, talkative individual, willing to share about her life a little bit.
The caller wants police to know there was another individual sitting on the other side of Leah, whom she was also talking with. The second individual is contacted by police.
I remember having lunch with her and having a conversation with her. He gave us a description of her, and with that she talked about Jack Kerouac. They talked about him and about why she came out.
Then, the second man gives police another intriguing clue. According to him, Leah did not leave the restaurant alone that day.
This second individual gave us a description of this individual. He called Barry, who Leah left with.
His description of Barry is so detailed, police bring in a sketch artist. The image rendered now portrays a possible suspect in Leah's disappearance. But police are concerned. The story the second individual gives does not mesh with the account given by the first man, the one who called in the tip.
He never talked about her leaving with somebody else. He said she left alone, and then this other individual said she left with somebody else.
Since police cannot verify the second individual's testimony, they begin to suspect the story of Barry, the man in the sketch, is a ruse. But at this early stage of the investigation, they are not ready to rule anything out. Leah's car has been towed to a secure facility, and both Whatcom County detectives and the FBI have begun to process the car, looking for any additional evidence that might indicate foul play.
The vehicle was impounded and then taken to evidence storage. There, a couple of crime scene deputies started processing all the clothes. They went through all that stuff again.
It's been 12 days since Leah's Jeep was found off Canyon Creek Road, and 3 weeks since Leah went missing. Now, police stumble upon evidence that more strongly suggests something very bad has happened to Leah Roberts.
She had, I believe, somewhere around $2,500 with her that she left with. We found a pair of pants in the vehicle with $2,400 inside the pocket.
It appears as though Leah has spent little money since the 13th of March, the day she was seen leaving the restaurant.
If she was going to live in Bellingham for 4 or 5 days, she had to live somewhere, and it doesn't look like she used a lot since Monday.
And then, under a floorboard in the Jeep, they find Leah's most sacred possession.
We also found a ring, and it was her mother's ring. The question is why she would have taken it off. In fact, one of her friends said she would have never taken it off.
That was a very, very sacred item for her. And I don't care what kind of emotional state she was in, unless she had some kind of serious mental disorder or something, she would have never left that ring, never.
She took everything of value with her, and everything of value was still left in her car.
It is becoming increasingly clear that whatever Leah's intentions were for embarking on this road trip, something very sinister got in the way of her realizing her dream.
I think she was on a journey. She left a note saying everything's gonna be fine. It's just, I think the journey stopped in Bellingham, and we don't know why it stopped, what brought it to stop, but I don't think Leah brought it to stop.
Coming up, police find new evidence in Leah's wrecked car 7 years later.
No one's ever opened the hood.
After finding a large sum of cash, along with her mother's engagement ring, inside Leah Roberts' abandoned and wrecked vehicle, police are concerned that she might have been intentionally harmed. The last person believed to have seen her alive in a Bellingham restaurant tells police she left with another man, but police question the witness's credibility. All they can do now is keep searching for Leah. They begin on Canyon Creek Road.
It was within 2 weeks of the crash that search and rescue team comes out.
Although hopes of finding Leah alive are fading, police call in a highly trained search team. They map out an area where an injured Leah could have gone had she escaped the wreckage.
Aerial was done, helicopters flown over, dogs are brought in. No stone is left unturned.
They search above the car and below, all the way down to the Nooksack River.
They weren't able to find anything else. No sign of Leah. Could they have missed her? Yeah, I mean, it happens, but they did search the area.
Now, police are fairly certain that Leah was not injured in that accident. In fact, they are now beginning to believe no one was actually in the car when it crashed. But for Leah's brother Heath, this doesn't prove that Leah was never there.
There was a lot of damage to the car, but it wasn't in terrible condition. It looked like it would have been a jarring accident, but not one that somebody shouldn't have walked away from.
Desperate for more clues, police call the gas station in Brooks, Oregon, where Leah last used her debit card for gas. They obtain surveillance footage from the time she should have been in the store. What they find is telling.
They were able to see Leah going into the store and paying for a transaction and leaving. And she was by herself. She's wearing a hat and it's sped up, but it's her.
A closer look at the video shows Leah peering out the door while she waits for the clerk to ring her up. Since there are no cameras outside the store, what she is looking at remains unknown. But the footage leaves investigators confident that Leah appeared to be fine just hours before she arrived in Bellingham.
It shows her alive and well on her journey up to Mount Baker.
Evidence from the car further leads investigators to believe this was a solo trip across the country.
She came out with a guitar, camera, lots of CDs, all her clothes, writing stuff. We didn't see anything that looked like she was traveling with somebody else.
Did Leah, as the second man in the Bellingham restaurant says, really meet up with a man named Barry just 13 hours later?
We don't believe she had any friends out here. We don't believe she drove out here with anybody but herself. She was at the restaurant by herself. So this individual, Barry, We just can't verify it.
Police are stumped. Why would the man from the restaurant invent a suspect? Does he know more about Leah than he is letting on?
His behavior became very odd. We tried to figure out what role he had to play. Was it just sitting down and having lunch with her, or was there more?
According to police, he says he never saw Leah again after that Monday afternoon at the restaurant. But with no further evidence, Leah Roberts' case begins to go cold. Police from the Whatcom County Sheriff's Department ask her sister Kara what they should do with Leah's car.
You hear all the time about cases that are solved 10, 15 more years down the road by some new piece of evidence that they go back and find. So I was pretty adamant that I wanted them to keep the car.
The years go by, and Leah's 1993 Jeep Cherokee sits idly in a secure facility maintained by the Whatcom County Sheriff's Department. What was once a symbol of freedom for Leah is now a lonely reminder of shattered dreams. Could this wrecked shell still hold the missing piece of the puzzle? Almost 7 years have passed, and the case of the missing woman from North Carolina is still unsolved. The original detective on the case retires, passing on Leah's files to Detective Collins and his colleague, Detective Alan Smith.
This cold case really drew me in. So as I started reading the story about Leah, I really wanted to, with fresh eyes, look at it again.
We began re-examining the evidence. And when we were doing that, we discovered that there were parts of her vehicle that hadn't been fully examined.
I was sitting at my desk and I'm reading the report and said, what hasn't been done is no one's ever opened up the hood.
When the two detectives pry open the damaged hood, what they find provides a viable explanation for the most baffling factor in Leah's disappearance, that at the time of the crash, no one appears to have been in the car.
At the time the State Patrol examined the car, they said the seatbelt hadn't been stretched. There was no evidence of anybody in the car, no blood in the vehicle.
But the car had to have been accelerating at significant speed to go over the embankment. 7 years later, investigators find a shocking explanation.
It appeared as though the Jeep had been tampered with and that it would have taken somebody with a knowledge of a mechanic in order to do that level of tampering with the vehicle. We found that the cover on the starter relay had been removed, which made it possible for somebody to turn the key on, push the starter relay, and have the vehicle accelerate on its own.
Investigators finally have a technical explanation for how the car could have been started from the outside and accelerated without a driver. With this new information, police are drawn back to their initial possible suspect, the second man from the restaurant, who is believed to be the last person to see Leah alive.
He has experience as a mechanic and experience from the military, so we believe that he would fit the description of a viable suspect.
Police decide to process the car one more time. What they find is the break they've been waiting for.
On the inner underside of the hood, we found a series of fingerprints that weren't documented during the original investigation.
With this new evidence, police track down their possible suspect, who is now living in Canada. They contact Canadian authorities and request that they fingerprint him and get a sample of his DNA. Meanwhile, investigators decide to re-examine all of Leah's belongings. They hope to find DNA evidence that could have been overlooked before, which might match him or someone else.
There is a whole bunch of clothing that's being reprocessed for DNA. The articles that were most likely to provide a DNA sample were submitted to the FBI's lab.
There is a chance that after 7 years, advances in technology will now be able to identify traces of DNA that were previously undetectable.
We believe there's DNA that would link someone to Leah's disappearance, and we're going to look for that match.
But detectives are in for a long and difficult wait. It takes them over 2 years to obtain DNA and fingerprints from their possible suspect in Canada. And when they do, they find the fingerprints are not a match. In the spring of 2010, there is better news. a crime lab finally finds male DNA on an item left behind in Leah's car. Tests are now underway, and police are on the brink of finally finding out if it matches their possible suspect.
We've just recently received results that say that they do have classifiable DNA and that they can compare it against something, which is very timely considering we just got the DNA evidence from the suspect in Canada.
Hopefully we'll rule him out, or we'll rule him in. We don't know.
Through the years, while waiting for answers from the DNA evidence, Detective Collins and his team have done everything they can to keep Leah's case alive.
Just a year and a half ago, went and researched the area with cadaver dogs and metal detectors. The idea is maybe we can find something.
After all this time, the hope of finding Leah's remains in the area where her car crashed is unlikely. But detectives know there is a part of Leah that will literally never decompose. The metal rod placed in her leg following her car accident 13 years before.
That metal rod has a number to it and it's ascribed to Leah. And that's not going anywhere. One day, we will find her final resting place.
As they have moved on in life, Heath and Kara Roberts are not willing to give up all traces of hope that one day they will see their little sister's infectious smile and once again feel the warmth of her generous spirit.
I think about her all the time. It's like someone died, even though we don't have any real proof that she did or didn't. I'd like to find out what happened to her, and I wish I could have her back.
I'm gonna hang on to her memories, and I'm not gonna mourn for Leah because we don't have a body. She's not been found dead or alive. I'm realistic, but I'm gonna hang on to that piece of hope until someone proves otherwise.
Amber Gerwick disappeared on Saturday, April 9th, 2011. When a person disappears without a trace, often the most critical information is hidden in their actions and words from the days before they vanished. Amber Gerwick's last known whereabouts may hold the clues to what happened to her. Mother of four, Amber Gerwick, vanishes suddenly from her Jackson, Michigan home.
My heart just went into my throat.
Clues found halfway across the country paint a frightening picture.
I saw the video and I just literally could not breathe.
Then, old wounds threatened to tear Amber's family apart.
I had been through this once before when my brother disappeared. With him, they found a body.
How could we as a family endure a disappearance again?
What happens next stuns even the most hardened cops.
Every now and then, no matter how many cases you've done, somebody will throw a curveball at you from left field.
It's a crisp spring morning in Jackson, Michigan, a small city in the Midwestern hub of the Rust Belt. Homemaker Diane Spice lives 5 miles north in the sleepy suburb of Blackman Township.
It was a normal, regular day, and the phone rang at early. It was like 10 minutes to 8.
The call is about Diane's niece, Amber.
It was Amber's boss telling me that she had not been to work for 2 days.
32-year-old Amber Gerwick works as an administrative assistant at a local consulting firm.
Amber worked for a company that contracted with Homeland Security. She enjoyed her job. She had just gotten a promotion, was really happy about that.
She was really excited. She was going from working in a cubicle to having an office of her own.
But it isn't just work that keeps Amber busy.
She was taking a medical administration course part-time at school, working full-time.
She was maintaining a 4.0 average while taking care of a family.
Amber has 4 children. She and her ex-husband share custody. Amber was at a good place in her life.
To Diane, her niece's sudden absence from work seems out of character.
For her not to show up for 2 days without calling in was very unusual. So I thought, well, maybe she's sick.
Amber has recently moved to a one-bedroom apartment a few minutes from her Aunt Diane's home. Diane decides to check in on her. But she's greeted by nothing but a cold silence.
I knocked on the door pretty loudly, as loud as I could. I pounded on it for a few minutes, and I listened in to see if I could hear any sounds, but there was nothing.
Minutes later, Diane breaks the troubling news to Amber's mother, Jackie Seeger.
She asked if we had heard anything from Amber recently, and I said, well, we talked to her Saturday.
Jackie and her husband Dale speak with their daughter regularly.
Amber lives in Michigan, and I live in Georgia, and that's a long ways away. So in order to stay in touch, Amber and I talked to one another on the phone.
On April 9th, 2 days earlier, Amber was her usual talkative self.
She said that the kids were with their father that weekend, and that she was going to study for the day.
But Amber never mentioned plans to miss work. Immediately concerned, Jackie tries her daughter's cell phone.
There was no answer whatsoever, just would go to her voicemail.
Well, we decided at that point there needed to be a missing persons report filed.
Diane files a report with the Blackman Township Department of Public Safety.
Well, the next step was, of course, going to her apartment and searching.
We felt it was important to check and make sure that she wasn't physically injured and laying in the apartment or worse.
Within the hour, patrol officers arrive at Amber's apartment. But Amber is nowhere to be found.
The police had crime scene investigative people there searching the apartment. They had called the detectives at that point.
Leading the investigation is veteran detective Robert Schrock.
As we entered, we made contact with the patrol officers that were on scene.
At first glance, nothing appears out of the ordinary.
There was no sign of like a struggle or altercation. The apartment wasn't in any type of disarray. There was food in the fridge. She also didn't appear to have packed any clothes. All indicators that she probably wasn't going somewhere for long.
But then, one item suddenly catches his attention.
Amber's purse was sitting by the door. Missing from the purse was her wallet, keys to the vehicle, and the vehicle was not at the apartment.
The evidence found in the apartment leads police to believe that Amber had left willingly. Until Detective Schrock reaches the bedroom at the end of the hall.
As I walked into the bedroom, I located a cell phone sitting on the bed. And the cell phone was still on.
A laptop and various school books are also strewn across the bed.
So it looked like she just got up and took off.
The objects left behind in the bedroom raise a new level of concern.
It made it more suspicious because most people won't leave their cell phone.
We were completely mystified. We did not know what could have caused her to leave the apartment without her cell phone, because it was attached to her like, you know, it was part of her skin.
Detective Schrock begins to piece together possible scenarios.
It's one of two things. It's either Amber didn't want to be contacted, or somebody got a hold of her.
Did somebody break in? Did somebody get into the apartment? And did somebody take her forcefully?
But who would want to harm Amber Gerwick? Police speak with a number of friends and acquaintances, including Amber's ex-husband, but no one stands out as a suspect. However, down in Georgia, the Seegers are convinced their daughter would never disappear under normal circumstances.
When she walked out of that apartment, we're thinking there's something wrong.
Amber never would have left her children, just up and left her children.
Amber's career in security contracting gives her access to an inventory of sensitive government information. Her family wonders if Amber's disappearance is somehow connected to her job.
She probably would have known a number of things that could have been important to somebody that was maybe a terrorist or something.
Imagination goes wild. You can think of so many different things that could be going on, so many whys and so many what ifs.
The clues found in Amber's apartment in Michigan leave the family with a host of agonizing questions. But none points police towards an answer.
It was important to get going on this because the last time anyone had spoke to her was on the 9th. A couple days had already gone by, so we were already behind on trying to figure out what had happened.
When Detective Schrock returns to the station, he enters Amber into the National Crime Information Center, or NCIC. The system will raise a red flag if Amber or her vehicle appear on police radar for any reason.
At that point, we were kind of in this limbo. Like, what do we do?
We are sitting here in Georgia. She's missing in Michigan. You know, who do we contact? Who do we talk to? Where do we turn for help?
Then, only 3 hours later, the case takes a startling turn.
Then suddenly we get this call that the car turned up in Georgia as an abandoned car in Tunnel Hill.
I remember having to have that repeated to me because I must have heard it wrong. Her car couldn't have been in Tunnel Hill, Georgia.
And here's her car, 600 miles away from Jackson, where she lives. And we're like, now what?
Coming up, police uncover a puzzling new clue.
I saw the video and I just literally could not breathe.
Mother of 4 Amber Gerwick has gone missing from her home in Jackson, Michigan. But just 3 hours after her family filed a missing persons report, Amber's car turned up in the parking lot of a Dollar General store in Georgia, over 600 miles from Jackson.
And everything changed. The search had suddenly moved from Michigan to Georgia.
What's most perplexing is not the SUV's distance from Amber's home in Jackson, but rather its proximity to her parents' home in Calhoun.
That's about 35 miles north of us. It's way off the highway. It's just kind of an out-of-the-way place.
According to Tunnel Hill Police, the SUV was abandoned in the parking lot at least 2 days earlier.
Did she drive the car down here? Did someone force her to drive the car down? Did someone do something to her and then take her car?
One day after Amber is reported missing, the case is turned over to Detective Eric Burnett of the Whitfield County Sheriff's Department in Georgia. Detective Burnett invites the Seegers down to the station to discuss some new developments in the case.
I met with Miss Gerwick's parents the first time at my office, the sheriff's office. Asked them about their daughter, what kind of a person she was, what kind of friends she has. I told them what we'd found in the car.
He said initially there appeared to be no signs of a struggle inside of the vehicle. There was no signs of violence. There was no blood evidence.
However, what police did find in the front seat of Amber's car raises a slew of new questions.
Miss Gerwick's wallet was located in the car. There was no money there. It was just a debit card and her driver's license.
Police also found Amber's keys locked inside the SUV.
That was very strange to me.
If Amber drove the car, why would she leave her most important possessions behind? But then, if Amber were abducted, why would the kidnapper leave her possessions out in the open?
We ran all kind of scenarios, what might have happened to her. But the more we did that, the more confused we got. Is she running from anybody? Has someone done something to her? Those are questions that we needed to have answers for pretty quick.
There had to be something wrong for her to lock her billfold and her keys in. And the only thought that goes through my mind was she did that deliberately so somebody would know that she had been there, like leaving the breadcrumb trail.
Then, Detective Burnett reveals the most valuable piece of evidence found in the SUV, a small paper receipt. The receipt lists a number of purchases made at the Dollar General store. But since the receipt was locked inside Amber's SUV, whoever was driving the car must have been a customer at the store. And chances are, this person was caught on one of the Dollar General's many surveillance cameras.
Based on the receipt, we knew the time and the date of where to look. We wanted to see exactly who was in that store. We went to the Dollar General store and met with the manager at the store to watch the video.
Detective Burnett cues the footage up to Sunday, April 10th at 8:04 a.m., the time stamped on the receipt. What it reveals will turn the investigation on its head.
This is a surveillance video. It showed a female in there buying several items and leaving the store. She was a white female. She had a University of Kentucky blue sweatshirt on, blue jeans and tennis shoes.
I saw the video and I just literally could not breathe. Looked at the monitor and there's my daughter.
It was her. I mean, there was no doubt in my mind it was her, and it stopped me dead in my tracks.
You see her come in. She walks around. She picks up her items. She stops at the checkout. Guy comes to check her out. She kind of says hello to him. She picks up a chapstick or something right there by the cash register, pays for her stuff.
And she turned to the left and she just disappeared.
Amber's appearance on video ends here. There are no surveillance cameras in the Dollar General parking lot.
That's it. That's all we have. We have no way to know what happened when she left the store.
We watched it over and over. I just wanted to reach out and touch her. I just wanted to say, where are you, Amber?
The footage leaves the Seegers with more questions than answers.
She hasn't contacted us. She hasn't attempted to contact us, and why not? Where is she?
Never did I feel that Amber had got to Georgia willfully. I don't know why, how, but I know it's not of her own accord.
She looked up at the camera. She looks right at the surveillance camera and we're like, okay, were we supposed to notice that? Was she trying to tell us something?
All theories aside, the Seegers must accept a painful reality. Over 3 days have passed since Amber was last seen alive.
It's like the big abyss of the unknown right before you.
My baby girl has been there, and I feel stronger now than ever before that she's in harm's way, and I can't help her.
Coming up, as the search effort expands, police turn their attention to a murky swamp in Tunnel Hill.
Dad and I both felt that this was going to end badly.
Amber Gerwig has not been heard from for 4 days. Georgia police spotted her on surveillance footage from a convenience store in the small town of Tunnel Hill, Georgia, over 600 miles from her home in Michigan. Oddly, it's just under 30 miles from her parents' house. But Amber has not been seen since, and her parents are beginning to fear the worst.
The problem is that, yeah, you saw her alive there, but you don't know what's happened in the meantime. Okay, she made it to Georgia, but she only made it as far as Tunnel Hill. How come she's not here?
No new leads have surfaced in the last 24 hours, and Amber's father, Dale, is growing restless.
Very much a helpless feeling. I don't know what to do. I haven't slept 2 nights before. Emotionally, I'm just torn up.
Dale decides to play a more active role in the investigation.
I finally had enough. I had to go looking for Amber.
He drives to the site of Amber's last known whereabouts, the Dollar General store.
I had to walk up and down the aisles. I know that I'm not going to find her there, but I know that that's where she was. And I walked up and down these same aisles. I'm in the aisle where they have the lotions and the shampoos and the stuff, and I walk up and down that. And while I'm walking, I'm thinking, Amber, what's happened to you?
There are no new clues to be found inside. But outside, the store's property borders an expanse of densely wooded swampland.
So I walked out and back, and I walked a grid pattern by myself, looking for my daughter in the tall grass. I'm not going to deviate from a straight line for nothing. So I'm walking through the brambles, I'm walking through the berry bushes, I'm walking through everything.
Dale is driven by instinct, but terrified of what he might find.
I climbed down in the drainage culvert, walked that from one end to the other, walked out there through the mud as much as I could to find her.
After trudging through acres of jagged bramble and putrid swamp, Dale can go no further.
I just sat there and looked down. I was all scratched up, my legs were all muddy and everything. I remember buying some bottled water and washing my legs and stuff off. And I remember the dread of going home because I had not been successful.
The Sheriff's Department enlists the help of the Georgia Bureau of Investigation, a state-run criminal justice organization.
Well, the GBI, they have more resources than we do. They bring us more manpower for searches.
Heading up the case is Special Agent Daniel Sims.
Time is of a critical element. The first couple of days is very important in the collection of facts and evidence, mainly because those things are perishable. They can go away. As far as investigative work, Amber was at the top of the list.
The first official step for the Bureau is to mount an extensive search throughout Tunnel Hill.
We organized a search with about 30 emergency personnel. The area around the Dollar General store is extremely rural. And it's hilly, if not mountainous. We wanted to make sure that she wasn't in the woods. Other officers searched the railroad tracks that transversed that strip mall that the Dollar General is part of. And we also had some individuals search the swampy area behind the Dollar General itself. And we did neighborhood canvas searches, went door to door.
This may be an awful thing to admit, but when they said that they were going to go back up there and search, I actually prayed that they wouldn't find Amber because that would mean a body, not my daughter.
You go into it with the hopes and aspirations that you'll find her alive. But at the same time, having traveled down these investigative roads before, you keep your eyes open for anything that's on the ground or motionless, or, of course, the discovery of the human body.
But after an exhaustive search, the team comes up empty. Though Agent Sims is undeterred, the failure to uncover new evidence is a blow to morale.
The longer that anyone is missing, the chances of finding them lessens.
Dad and I both expressed that we felt that this was going to end badly, that there really wasn't a lot of hope. It was very hard to be hopeful because of the history as a family.
Although it's hard to fathom, Amber's disappearance is actually a familiar trauma for the Seeger family.
I had been through this once before when my brother disappeared.
It was winter, it was in January, and he tried to go to this party and he got lost and got stuck in the snow. We didn't know where he was for 2 years. He died of hypothermia. It was horrible for our family.
How could we as a family endure a long-term disappearance again? Would we be able to get through something like that?
Coming up, Amber's father suddenly finds himself at the center of the investigation.
And I remember breaking down. I found it unconscionable, but somebody could make that accusation against me.
Get more Disappeared online at investigationdiscovery.com. Missing Michigan resident Amber Gurwit was last seen alive on April 10, 2011, in a small-town Georgia convenience store. But in the days and weeks following, in spite of a concentrated search effort led by state and local police, no new leads have materialized.
When you know that you have a missing person and their family's grieving, it's hard not to think about that even when you're off duty. And I found myself thinking a lot about Amber and where she might be.
Distraught by the lack of answers, Amber's parents devote every spare moment to searching for their daughter.
Obviously, the detectives and the police and sheriffs and Agent Sims were all doing their part, but we needed to be doing something as well.
Amber's brother, Sean, designs a missing persons poster for his parents to distribute around town.
It had 3 pictures of Amber on it. Probably the most important picture, believe it or not, was a large angel tattoo on her shoulder. I was never happy that Amber got tattooed until we had this huge angel that we could put out there and say, here's an identifying mark that you can use to find her.
When she was younger, she was enamored with angels, and we're talking from an early age. We're talking 3 years old.
I had an angel pin, and when I saw the pin, I'd forgotten I had it. I pulled it out and I put it on. It served to help me. You know, I wore it every single day.
The Seegers launch a broad campaign to get the word out.
That poster was distributed in literally thousands of those things. We're all over the southeast United States.
We had put her listing on Facebook. We would post it and we would ask our friends to repost it, and Amber's friends were posting it and reposting it.
Dale and Jackie are desperate for their efforts to yield some new leads.
That was my full-time job, was finding Amber.
Meanwhile, Agent Sims is working every angle, including some of the darkest places on the criminal landscape.
There is a certain segment of our society that are predators, and they do target people. We did focus on local sex offender databases, and we actually interviewed some people that were on that list.
Then, on April 27th, disaster strikes the South.
Northeast Alabama and Northwest Georgia and Southeastern Tennessee got hammered with a series of F4 tornadoes. We had to divert ourselves from the investigation to focus on rescue efforts. It was a pretty trying time for everybody in the Northwest Georgia region.
suddenly, at the Georgia Bureau of Investigation, Amber's case is no longer priority number one.
We knew that he literally did not have time. That was rather devastating for us.
There might be, 2 or 3 hours a day that I could focus on Amber's investigation, and then it was right back to our efforts in helping the communities that were afflicted by the tornadoes.
But despite Agent Sims' vigilance, weeks go by with no new answers. For the Seegers, each passing day erodes their hopes of finding their daughter.
Amber had been missing for 3.5 weeks. We cried, we prayed, we didn't sleep. It was a real tough time. We were running out of ideas.
On May 4th at 1:30 p.m., Special Agent Sims calls the Seegers down to the station. He says he has an important matter to discuss with them.
He met us at the Sheriff's Department here in Gordon County, and he said that he needed to question us separately.
I told her that we had investigated the case thoroughly, that we had absolutely no evidence to suggest that her daughter had become the victim of foul play. We had no evidence that she was alive.
He said, we have no more leads. We don't know where to look anymore.
It wasn't that we were stopping the investigation. It was just at the stage where we knew that it would be easy to perceive that the investigation was grinding to a halt.
That was extremely upsetting.
For Jackie, what Agent Sims told her is almost impossible to accept. But when Agent Sims sits down with Dale, the news only gets worse.
During that meeting with him, he said something to me. Somebody had made the accusation that I knew where Amber was, and I was helping her to stay hidden.
Information had come our way that Dale would do this, and it was a bridge that I felt like I had to cross with him.
Dale feels blindsided by the accusation.
I remember breaking down. I found it unconscionable, but somebody could make that accusation against me.
One of the most unpleasant parts of my job is when I've got to sit down with somebody who is truly grieving and then challenge them as to whether they have committed a crime. I didn't feel like that the Seegers had engaged in this type of activity, but I just had to cross that bridge.
Agent Sims is convinced of Dale's innocence, but it comes as little relief.
After we got done with that discussion, he told me there was just nothing more they could do. I remember walking out of that interview room and feeling like I was carrying a 10-ton weight.
The Seegers' lives have taken on a hollow sadness they are convinced they will have to live with forever. But they soon would be proven dead wrong. Later that day, Agent Sims gets an unexpected call.
A few hours after I had this meeting with the Seegers, I received a call from the Whitfield County Sheriff's Office. One of the secretaries in the investigative division said, "You need to contact the Joliet, Illinois Police Department. There's a detective there that wants to speak to you." No matter how many cases you've done, no matter how many investigations that you have undertaken, every now and then somebody will throw a curveball at you from left field.
Only 2 hours after returning home, the Seegers' phone rings.
It was Special Agent Sims. I recognized the phone number and I said, "Yes, Special Agent." He says they've located a woman in Joliet, Illinois, who matches Amber's description, that has amnesia.
Their department had found a young female wandering in a city park and had flagged down the police. She was suffering from memory loss, did not know who she was, and that they had been dealing with a Jane Doe.
Then he says something Amber's father will never forget.
This woman had a tattoo of an angel on her back.
Coming up, a dramatic break in the case is not exactly what it seems.
I'm looking into a face that isn't right. I don't know how to explain it. She just didn't look right.
It's been 3.5 weeks since missing mother Amber Gerwick was last seen in Tunnel Hill, Georgia. Her family had all but given up hope of finding her when they received some astonishing news. An unidentified woman suffering from memory loss was found in Joliet, Illinois, nearly 600 miles north of Tunnel Hill. Joliet police think it's Amber.
They've located a woman that matched her description identically, that had an angel tattoo on her right shoulder.
In Joliet, the story of the woman who lost her memory had caught the attention of the local media, who broadcast a photo of the mysterious woman. The photo was seen by someone familiar with the missing person flyer posted on Facebook.
The Facebook communication was that this is the person you're looking for. She's Amber Gerwick.
Sims sends the Seegers a photo of the woman taken at Silver Cross Hospital in Joliet.
And there was Amber in a hospital bed, staring at us. I just said, it's her. It's her. And Dale's like, it's her. She's there. She's alive. We were jumping. We were screaming. We were crying.
My happiness wasn't even close to their happiness. Over the phone, you could hear that weight being lifted, you know, and all of a sudden this flood of hope coming into their heart that, you know, their daughter's alive.
But Dale notices something strange in the photograph.
I'm looking at Amber's picture, and I know it's Amber, but I'm looking into a face that isn't right. She just didn't look right.
Her eyes were empty, and I didn't see Amber's personality shining back at me.
Despite their misgivings about the photo, the Seegers are eager to get to Joliet. They pack their bags and begin the 600-mile drive that night. The next morning, Dale and Jackie head straight to the hospital.
The nurses gave us an update on Amber's condition and what was going on. She was unharmed. She was fine. The only thing that was wrong was her memory.
Amber is suffering from one of the most complex and puzzling conditions in medicine, transient global amnesia.
She didn't remember being married. She didn't remember having children. She just forgotten her life.
Dr. Lucy at Silver Cross put it this way: 99.99% of the doctors in this country will go through their entire career practicing medicine and will never see this type of amnesia, ever.
That afternoon, the Seegers finally get the chance to see their daughter face to face.
We saw Amber, and she was holding a little stuffed dog they had given her in the ER. And what I remember is my daughter taking one look at us, and she grabbed that doll and she hung it real close, and she started crying and said, "I don't know you. I don't remember you." And she just cried. I mean, she was just sobbing. And Jackie and I reassured her that was fine, that was no problem.
We had talked in the car and prepared ourselves for the possibility that she might not know us.
But for Amber, the reunion is a frightening realization of just how much she had lost.
They terrified me because I didn't know them. It was devastating not knowing who your parents are. Worse than not knowing who you are. These are the people who raised me. I remembered them the way they were when I was little, but I didn't know who they were at that moment.
Amber can only remember her life up to age 12. Almost all memories from her adult life have vanished.
I'd look in the mirror and the face that was looking back at me was not the face that I would expect. You know, I'd expect to look in the mirror and see that kid that I was, and it was an adult looking back at me.
The Seegers spend the next few days slowly walking Amber through the last 2 decades of her life.
They were explaining to me that I'd been missing and how long I'd been gone and how she had this angel pin. And I loved angels.
I gave her the pin and I told her, Amber, told her why I'd worn it every day. And now you need to find yourself. So this is your angel pin now to help you find yourself.
At the end of the week, Amber is reintroduced to her 4 children.
She met with each of them for a half an hour, one at a time. It was a difficult thing, but she enjoyed seeing her kids, and they were overjoyed.
Amber is released from the hospital and travels with her parents to Georgia to begin a long and strenuous recovery process. But many questions still remain, particularly what happened the night she disappeared. Fortunately, Amber can recall her last hours of lucidity.
I remember studying, sitting at my computer, trying to get schoolwork done.
In the early evening, Amber took a break from studying and headed to a nearby convenience store.
I remember going down to the car and getting there and realizing I'd left my phone upstairs. All I had grabbed was my keys and my wallet. I didn't see any reason to go back upstairs to grab my phone when I was only going to be gone for a few minutes. I went to the convenience store down the road. I picked up a couple of small things there, and then that's it. It just stops. It's like there's nothing else after that until I remember the hospital.
Doctors assume Amber spent the next 3.5 weeks in what is known as a dissociative fugue state.
Dr. Lucy told us that the person that is in the fugue state can still operate. They can take care of themselves. They just don't know what's going on. They don't remember it.
But no one knows what triggered the episode.
We know that a traumatic event can cause global amnesia. That's what we believe happened.
Amber numerous times has been very specific in a fear that a man walks up behind her, puts his left hand on her right shoulder and spins her around. This is something new.
I believe that somebody grabbed her from behind and either frightened her terribly or did something to her and she ran.
Amber is still haunted by the dark gaps in her memory. She still has no idea where she was, where she ate, or where she slept at night during her fugue state.
I refuse to think about what happened during those 3.5 weeks when I was missing. What caused me to walk away? What caused me to just disappear like that? What happened to me while I was gone? I could drive myself crazy thinking about those things. I've had to stop thinking about it and just accept that those 3.5 weeks are gone and that I'll never get them back, even if I get the rest of my life back.
Today, Amber is still working to recover the memories she lost, but she has a positive outlook towards the future.
There's so much she doesn't know, so much she doesn't remember, and she wants to know it all. She wants to learn it all.
She's remembering a little bit more each day.
The Amber that you see today is the Amber that she's always been. There's really no change in her personality. Her sense of humor is the same.
The best thing that has come out of having amnesia, I've had this opportunity to examine my life and the decisions that I made from an almost a third-person perspective. How many people get a chance to re-examine their life like that?
Through her ordeal, Amber has learned a valuable lesson.
The one thing in the world that mattered the most to me is that people don't lose hope. You have to keep hoping that if somebody that you love is missing, that they're out there. It means the world to me to remember every day how many people refused to give up that I would be found. You can't give up. You have to keep hoping.